Come and dream with me.
Hello and welcome to this What Do You Want to Watch discussion of the 93rd Academy Awards. I'm Ashley Hobley, joining me today, Dylan Blight.
Happy to be here after watching a Oscars we'll be talking about for some years.
Yes, the Oscars held inside a train station, directed by Glenn Weiss, produced by Jesse Collins, Stacey Sher, Steven Soderbergh, with presenters Regina King, Laura Dern, Don Cheadle, Bryan Cranston, Bong Joon-ho, Sharon Joy, Riz Ahmed, Reese Witherspoon, Marley Matlin, Jack Jason, Stephen Ewan, Brad Pitt, Halle Berry, Harrison Ford, Viola Davis, Zendaya, Angela Bassett, Rita Moreno, Renee Zellweger, and Joaquin Phoenix. Dylan, what did you think?
Was you keeping a note of
No,
every?
this is Wikipedia.
Okay.
What did you think of the show overall?
Yeah. So it's
Obviously very different to usual.
Yeah, very different. And until the last 10 minutes, I would have
The last
said
three
that
awards,
it was
arguably.
basically, yeah. I would say it's one of the best Oscars I've watched live. I can't say one of the best ever because I haven't watched every single freaking Oscars, but definitely I would say, and to a degree, I'm still leaning towards probably keeping it in my back pocket as one of the best I've watched live because I don't know, like I know you have this sort of argument about like movies or anything, like can the last 10 minutes of a movie ruin the entire movie, or can the last episode of a TV show ruin the whole show? And that people will be like, well, Game of Thrones was so it just
Emmy
depends.
Award-winning final season of Game of Thrones, yes.
Yeah, so it just depends on the person, I guess. And I will say that I think the ending of this show was rubbish. There's a lot of decisions made for weird reasons, but up until those last three awards, I really, really liked it. I think doing away with the musical performances and putting them into the, what they call it, After Dark?
No, they had it in the pre-show, the red carpet special.
But wasn't it called After Dark?
No, that's the show after the Oscars. That's why it's got after in the title.
What was the first one called? Pre-Dark.
I can't remember off the top of my head.
Morning show. Anyway, so putting them there, and then that obviously that opens up a bunch of time. And this show in general just felt like people had
It was
a lot more
called
time to give their
Oscars Into the
speeches.
Spotlight. Sorry.
Okay, there you go.
Yes.
And I saw some people complaining in that first speech by I can't remember who it was now. The director of no, was it the guy who wrote? Oh, it was another Round director. Sorry.
That was
blank.
yeah.
So that wasn't the first award, but that was early in the show, obviously. And then I saw right then, as I have the hashtag open, just scrolling through it, I saw a lot of people complaining that his speech was going for too long, and which was quite awkward because they just started speaking about his child passing away in a car accident or something like that.
Yes.
I was like, well, this is kind of messed up for you between that. But as a side, I was like, why use? Because to me, and we probably go over this every year. To me, you watch the show because you want to hear the people give their speeches. And if you're not watching it for that, I'm going to really go, what are you watching the show for? Like, if you're not watching it for the speeches, what is the point of the award show? Like, that is the whole point. So for me, everyone getting more time to do speeches and spend more time on stage and more time for people to recognize the people that acted or made the movies or whatever, that's the whole point. So I would say this was a really great show, not ruined but definitely tampered a lot by that last three award decision, which I'm sure we'll get to
in a second. I enjoyed the show a lot as well, other than obviously that the ordering of things obviously messed up what would have been one of the best Oscars. I think anybody who actually is invested in the show or in this award season or in movie making, I guess, would have liked this show. I think people who just watch the Oscars because that's the only thing, because they want to see who won, didn't like this show. Because there was nothing flashy or interesting, to keep those people interested. Whereas people who actually cared about it, like, got the moments that they wanted. They got the long speeches that people have been asking for years. I don't think there was barely anyone cut off or anything. Even though Emerald Fennell was worried that she was going to get told off by Steven Soderbergh. I think she had one of the shortest speeches of the night, other than Frances McDormand. But, we got some, great moments and stuff, My favorite being Daniel Claw saying that his mum and dad had sex. What a weird.
And he would have got cut. He would have cut off.
Way cut off before that.
Yeah.
So,
in the usual show.
But I guess we can't really... Let's start with the show with the final 3 awards. They decided to put Best Picture before the Best Acting categories.
3, yeah.
And everybody on the internet is assuming the reason they did that is they assumed the show would end with Chadwick Boseman winning Best Actor.
Let's clarify this. The people making that decision wouldn't have known who was winning.
No, they wouldn't have known, but he'd won so many awards prior, they're like, we're pretty confident that... The production of this show took what they felt was a safe gamble of putting Best Actor last, presumably because they assumed Chadwick was going to win. And they would have had... They assumed they'd had something prepared.
Yeah. And
otherwise, it would have just again been Joaquin Phoenix saying, we're going to accept this award on his behalf.
Yeah, because if everyone knew what was going to happen, no sane person would have said, have Joaquin Phoenix go out and him not look like he wants to be there, and then give the award to someone who's and then give the award to someone who's not even here, and then have the show end awkwardly. Like, no one would make that decision on purpose.
No, it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. So obviously that clearly backfired. But Anthony Hopkins, we've both watched The Father, very worthy winner of this award, which I think is getting lost in the shuffle of how awkward that was, and Chadwick obviously being expected to win by so many people.
There seems to be 2 sides to the criticism of the end of the show, which is like the side we're on, which is just that decision kind of ruined the show because it's just like such an anticlimactic ending. And then the other side seems to be people who just wanted him to win full stop because he should have won, because, I've seen a lot of he deserved to win because he didn't get an Oscar, and he needed it kind of thing. Like, he deserved. I'm like, well, that's not really how Oscars work. I haven't watched that movie, so I'm not going to say that he didn't deserve it. But like, even if he, I assume his performance is great. You've watched it. You said it's great. Everyone says it's great, right? But at the end of the day, just because he passed away doesn't mean that he suddenly gets extra points and deserves the Oscar because he passed away. That's not how it works. That's like, I know that sounds like rough, or mean, but that's not how the awards work.
No.
And a lot of people seem to be assuming that he was a shoo-in, and I know we all predicted him and thought he was a shoo-in because not based solely on that, but because he had been winning all the other appropriate awards.
Yeah, won SAG, won not the BAFTA. He won the Golden Globe. He won a bunch of other.
He won a bunch of them. So it seemed like
indicators.
Yeah, so it seemed like a pretty safe bet, and we predicted it, and then it seemed the producers of the show predicted it. But like, that's different to saying he deserved it, and I'm outraged at the Oscars for not giving the award because he needed it more than anyone else. Especially because a lot of these people, you can tell they haven't actually watched The Father, so it's like, well, you don't even know if like.
I'm not even sure all of them watch Ma Rainey's Black Bottom either, so
probably not. It's probably just we need. Yeah, I've seen a lot of like Black Panther deserved to win. I'm like, he's not nominated for Black Panther. And as mean as it may sound, and I love that movie and I love him in it. I just think it's like, at some stage I think we need to say we need to remember him as Chadwick Boseman, not as Black Panther. I feel like there's just a big group of people who are trying to, he'll go down in history as Black Panther died and passed away, not Chadwick Boseman passed away early, and like the great career that he already had and could have continued to have. It's just this weird thing there. So that's just finding that all a bit odd.
Yeah. So I guess work back from there. The 1-2 punch of Nomadland winning for Best Picture, and Frances McDormand winning for Best Actress. I guess we saw Best Picture. That was pretty much a given. So Chloe Zhao becoming the second woman in history to win Best Director as well. That was kind of a given during this Academy Award season. No surprises there. Frances McDormand winning. I mean, that category was a massive toss-up all the way through to today, with all the actresses winning different awards.
I thought all of the categories were pretty stacked this year, so
yeah,
you know, I didn't expect her to win because I felt like her was more of a subdued performance compared to some of the other ones, I guess. But yeah, I'm definitely not complaining about her winning. She's fantastic in Nomadland, so
yep,
fine by me.
I assume the wolf thing is something from Nomadland, but I'm kind of hoping it's not.
No, okay, well, I'll take back what I just said. No, she just randomly did a wolf.
Wolf howl? Yeah.
Yeah.
No. So, coincidentally, Nomadland coming to Disney Plus this Friday. So we might have a spoiler cast, seeing as that's like a traditional thing for us in the coming week or so when it comes available.
I guess I'll rewatch it.
Yeah. News to you.
News to me. I'm finding out now, everyone.
Running through the other categories, Daniel Kaluuya winning for Best Supporting Actor for Judas Messiah, and then Yoon Yoo-jung winning for Minari. That was a great speech as well. You know, hitting on Brad Pitt.
That was the best speech.
And just
going
all over the place. Yeah. What did you think about? Well, the other thing I saw on Twitter was a lot of people being weirded out that they didn't use many clips from the films. That they, for a lot of these acting categories, the presenter, except Joaquin Phoenix, generally just praised the performances and that kind of thing, talked about them, rather than showing clips from the actual film. How'd you feel about that?
So, they did show clips at certain times. I couldn't
They
really
showed it
understand
for
when
the best film, so best animated feature, best documentary, best picture, and another one I can't remember.
And they were quite lengthy
International,
clips when they showed them. They were like 30 seconds or so
good
for
Disney
each clip.
hit,
Not just like that 10-second thing they do sometimes. So my big question, I don't mind what they did. It just seemed inconsistent, and it literally seemed like they left it up to the presenter to a degree.
What to say?
What to say, because some of them were coming out. So like, who did the best actress again? I can't remember. Was it
Renee Zellweger?
Renee Zellweger, that's right. So she does, you know, like, I loved you on this, blah, 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 that goes around and around. And then you have Joaquin Phoenix come out and go, here are the nominees.
I think there could be two things. It could be, A, it's Joaquin Phoenix. 2, time.
But he wasn't the only one that did it. Like, there were several other times.
I don't think so.
Like, no one else just listed the names, but I just mean, like, there was a difference in the amount that some people said, and then other people had, like, more, like, just one sentence, like, sort of things. Like, the writing seemed inconsistent, as if it wasn't written by the same couple people, you know, like the speeches.
Maybe.
Like, it really seemed like each was handled completely different, and that's I guess my complaint. Because I don't mind the idea, because I guess on paper the idea is kind of cool, where it's like the person presenting the award. I don't know if this is how it pitched, but if you're like the person presenting the award, could you possibly write something to say how you liked each person's performance or the work they did in the film? Because then that's kind of cool, because then you've got like someone, you know, you've got a peer within the industry saying like, I really liked it because of this, and that's like adds a bit more like personality and like real feelings between the presenters and the show and all that sort of stuff. So on paper, I'm okay with it, but I'm like, I don't know, could you meet in the middle and have them do it while showing clips? Hey, you know, like a bit of both. Because especially, I feel like the movies that need the clips the least are the ones they showed. So, you know,
the best picture ones.
Yeah. Because all the best pictures that everyone knows them. And then they're talking about, say, any of like the short film stuff. So they're talking about, what's the Netflix one that won best live action? Whatever.
Two Distant Strangers.
Right. So for a lot of people watching this who had never heard of that, maybe they're like, what is this? It won. And then they're doing this speech. Those two have a great speech. And a lot of people are like, these two are sounding great. This sounds like a movie, like, you know, politically charged thing I may be interested in watching. And like, they then have to go look it up, which, you know, is good itself. But it's like, well, you could have helped push people into wanting to watch it if you had actually just showed a clip. you know, because they're showing fucking clips for best animated feature for, you know, all these from everyone's seen Soul, everyone's seen, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. That and the other thing that I saw mentioned was them, like, there was no voiceover, like, people giving facts when they walked up to stage, you know, which is a pretty common thing. It was just weird music playing.
This is the fourth nomination for so-and-so and the second in a row for blah, blah, blah. Yeah, all that. Yeah.
All that kind of stuff. Or that's when you could have showed the clips for the thing that won.
Well, I'll say this. The Oscars as a show has been on the decline for years, right? They keep losing viewership. They keep, and they also are getting criticized by people who actually want to watch it, right? So I want to watch it every year. I legit want to watch the award show. I actually look forward to watching the award show. For the most part, I enjoy watching it. So all of my criticisms are because I actually want to get the best show. I think they've kind of made the right decision where maybe they've realized, hey, you know, in this day and age, the, you know, 2021 kids these days are on TikTok. Maybe we should stop chasing to make this show a huge success. Like maybe we should just focus on making it a good show and not making it, you know, millions of viewers kind of thing that maybe it was years ago, right? And then they're also like, well, we need to shake things up a bit. Fucking COVID's on, so let's just throw a bunch of ideas out. Let's fuck around. Like, how about we have best picture not be the last thing? Fuck it. You know, like if ever there's a year to try and see how that goes, because a lot of it just feels like they're like trying out things, and some of it worked really well, some of it didn't, and I hope that maybe whoever's in charge next year, that you could, when we watch it next year, you can see them go, oh, they brought back this, but they tweaked it. You know, like maybe they do the whole talking to the people, but they have the clips, or you know, like we can see that they took aboard the criticisms or and the positive and whatever. So
yeah, I have a feeling it'll just go back to normal next year, assuming they're able to.
I hope not, because that's like 2 steps forward, 2 back.
Because they'll be back in they've already said they're going back to the Dolby Theatre, and I feel like that environment was what lended itself to that kind of storytelling.
It's a longer walk down to the stage too, so maybe they had less time. Isn't it?
It's true. Like the short film people will be all the way down the other end. I did appreciate the smaller set number of people in the audience. Not everybody needs to be at the Oscars. You know, if you're not nominated.
No. Well, they definitely wasn't going to do it this year. It's like, if you're not nominated, you're not coming.
Yeah, unless you're presenting. I mean...
Yeah.
I thought they did a reasonable job with the presenters as well. You know, they all had their moments. I enjoyed Stephen Yeun shouting out Terminator 2.
Terminator? With his mum taking him?
Harrison Ford, like, reading all the editing notes for Blade Runner.
Yeah.
A film that got better after it was edited after the release.
Yep. So. Classic. I wasn't sure what his point was when he was doing that. I'm like, are you trying to say the original edit was good or the director's cut was good? Like, whose side of history are you on?
Yeah. And
Greedo shot first.
And I loved, Bong Joon-ho presenting with bringing back Sharon Troy as well in a Korean theater, which looked really cool.
Brand new meme moment for everyone where he holds up the award note to the camera, so everyone's just gonna.
Although you know what it reminded me, because they had it in darkness or whatever. It was just the lights from the row going up to the seats. It reminded me of Kojima's entrance at that PlayStation E3 showcase when he first got announced.
I don't remember.
It was like a massive stairs that came down that he walked down.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of that. So let's just run through any of the other awards. So Best Original Screenplay went to Emerald Fennell for Promising Young Woman. Best Adapted Screenplay went to Chris Hampton and Florian Zeller for The Father. I think that was probably an upset. I think we all went Nomadland on our guessing.
In retrospect, I'm like, I guess that's right. You know, it seemed like the most obvious answer, and it's probably the one that was right. You know?
Yeah. Soul won Best Animated Feature.
Boo. Wolfwalkers.
Yeah.
That was the one where I wanted if there was any award, I just wanted the upset to happen. I would have loved for it to have been Wolfwalkers winning. Yeah.
But shout out to Shaun the Sheep movie for including the best possible clip they could have in that.
Yeah, I was like, who picked these? Who picked the clips?
It's genius. Then another round, again, for Best International Feature.
Get to watch it in a week.
In a week, coming to Blu-ray on the 5th of May. So look forward to that one. Best documentary feature went to My Octopus Teacher. I think it's interesting, this category, where I think someone else has said that, it goes to the very popular-esque, like, cheery subject matter rather than the documentary that was necessarily the best. It feels like.
Yeah, so I haven't watched it, but it's also out of the... I think I haven't watched that and...
Truffle? Oh, no, Collective.
No, yeah, one of the other ones. Was that? Yeah.
I don't think Collective is out anywhere yet.
Okay.
It's showing in
and,
theaters.
well, out of all the ones I haven't watched, the Octopus Movie is one I have the least interest of watching. And after it won an award, I still don't care to watch it, really. Like, it's just the one that I've never... Because, it was a front page on Netflix for ages when it was popular and it came out, and I was just like, this just doesn't look interesting. Like all these things. But meanwhile, they're showing clips for Crip Camp and Time, and I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, let's go. One of these should win.
Yeah.
No, all right.
But, shout out to the internet for jumping on the Octopus Teacher meme train.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of Spider-Man 2 clips today, that's for sure.
A lot of good fun. Best documentary short subject went to Colette. The movie, short film done by EA and Respawn. Video game company.
That was hilarious. As soon as that one, I was like, lol. In fact, I think I tweeted out on the Explosion Network Twitter account, like, congrats to Respawn and EA, before Respawn had even tweeted out, hey, we won an Oscar.
Yeah, crazy.
So it's like, yeah, it's funny.
Then best live action short film went to Two Distant Strangers, which I happened to watch last night after I was pretty sure it was going to win. I was pretty confident. Really powerful film. Maybe a little heavy-handed, but I can definitely see why it won. And it fits the train of the last couple of years of being like a time loop film as well. So them.
I haven't watched it yet, but I should. I was going to watch all these, and I got fucked for time amongst everything else, which is disappointing. But you could also say that the animated short film winner's too heavy-handed, and it's just because sometimes maybe they need to be.
Yeah, well, it's a short film, so it has to be. And the best animated short film, of course, If Anything Happens, I Love You. So, good night. Actually, a pretty solid night for Netflix. I feel like it won a fair number of awards.
Also, they spoiled when we talked about that film on the last main episode of What Do You Want to Watch, and I was like not wanting to give it away in case Nick wanted to watch it, or like anyone listening wanted to watch it, because I didn't know what the thing was when I was watching it, so and then they get to the school shooting, and I was like, oh fuck, like, just hit you, of course.
Yeah.
But then in the Oscars, they're like, if everyone is...
Sorry if you wanted to watch it. Then you
well, I mean, they mentioned it during the Oscars, so I'm sure we're doing an Oscars podcast. So
I mean, to be fair, the Oscars normally spoil stuff. Like, the clip they showed for Onward is like a pivotal revelation for a character.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure the another round clips like from near the end of the movie.
It's near the end, but I think it's pretty,
from everything I've gathered about that film that everyone talks about, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty much loved. Best original score went to Soul for Trent Reznor, Odysseus Ross, and John Batiste.
Saw that one coming.
John Batiste gave a good speech. It was kind of weird going, does Trent Reznor want to talk? He's just standing awkwardly in the background while John Batiste, like, kind of off the top of his head seemed to come up with his speech, but yeah, that was pretty enjoyable. Best original song went to Fight For You from Judas and the Black Messiah. Music by Demile and Her, and lyrics by Her and Tiara Thomas. That was I didn't think that one was going to win, but
Yeah, I struggle to pick the...
Yeah, it was a tough one.
The best song stuff. Good speech though. I still haven't watched that movie, so I don't really know the context, but the song is good. So.
Yep. Best sound went to Sound of Metal. Very happy about that one. Yeah, you put the category in your title, then you're sure to win it. Best production design went to Mank. Best cinematography went to Mank. Best makeup and hairstyling for the first time went to a number of black women for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. Best costume design went to Anne Roth for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. And best editing went to Mikkel E.G. Nielsen for Sound of Metal. And visual effects went to Tenet. Any other surprises or any other moments you want to mention about the show?
I will say, so I saw people, because I predicted both the cinematography and the production design for Mank, because I thought they were shoo-ins, and that's why I predicted it. But then I could tell looking at Twitter, a lot of people were like, "Oh, what the hell? Mank's like actually winning awards," and I was like, "Well,
it was the most nominated."
I kind of thought that those two were the ones, yeah. Because so I wasn't that shocked, but I was surprised to see. Because I know you didn't predict them either, but then I was surprised to see so many people on Twitter.
I was expecting it to be The Irishman. Get nominated for everything, win nothing.
Okay. So that was nominated several years ago, but
yeah, no. So as people have been pointing out now, Mank has won more Academy Awards than Citizen Kane has. So Mankiewicz.
Now about the film about the making of the film about the making of Mank in 50 years will win more than Mank won. So
yeah, they were glad to accept these awards the exact same way the screenplay was written, without Orson Welles.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's kind of everything, but we might as well touch on our what do you want to watch predictions for this year. It was a tight race. I will say Nick only got the 6 out of the 23 categories, but he did get both documentary feature and documentary short subject right, which neither of us did.
He did his homework for those. I reckon he didn't guess him out of nowhere. He just did some hard work to get those predictions.
So then you, Dylan, you got 12 correct out of the 23. So it's just over half. Pretty good return.
I think I was fine with my answer. Here's the thing. So if it was a year where a bunch of stuff won that I was like, this is an outrage, like Green Book or some shit, then I'd be a little bit more peeved. But at the end of the day, the ones I didn't get right, I was like, yeah, fair enough. The winner. It wasn't anything to be bothered by, and I wasn't like, wow, shock horror sort of thing. So, and a couple of mine, I like the best supporting actor and stuff like that. Where I was just kind of, I don't know, like this could kind of, yeah. I was like, that's fine.
It was a toss up, but yes, I won again with 15 correct answers or predictions. I will say I got a little bit worried there towards the end. I'm like, I think I was like ahead by a good 4 or 5.
It was when the Mank won, and then
Mank and the cinematography, and then that kind of stuff, but then Sound of Metal saves the day again, taking out their best editing. I think that was a big turning point. Did
not see that coming, but at the end of the day, don't care.
So listen to What Do You Want to Watch to find out what I'm going to pick to make Nick and Dylan watch.
You have to watch 2 more episodes of Limitless.
No, because Nick hasn't watched any, so I don't think that would be fair. All right. Let us know what you thought of the 93rd Academy Awards. You can find us on Twitter by going to explosion.com/Twitter, or you can jump to our Discord at explosion.com/Discord. If you want to help us out, head over to explosion.com/support us. Find all different ways that you can help us out, whether it be reviews or monetarily. Thank you very much for listening, and until next time, keep watching stuff, I guess. Oh yeah, last thing I just remembered. Like in previous years, they've had these awkward segments, throughout the show. Like Ellen taking photos or getting pizza delivered, or they're going to go to another movie set. I thought we were going to miss all that. And then they have this bloody music trivia section.
Mm-hmm. But we got
Glenn Close doing the butt at the end, so so
it all
was all worth it. Yeah.